Hi, this is Angela with Park Rose Permaculture. It is the second week of February, and I am in my side yard garden, in the shade garden. And I want to talk a little bit about growing red huckleberries. So, red huckleberries are native here in the Pacific Northwest, and they are kind of notoriously difficult to grow. If you collect a specimen in the wild and try and transplant it back in your garden, it will typically die. And if you buy a young plant, they also tend to do well for a little bit and then just peter out and not do well, or either struggle or completely die. So I have 3 red huckleberries in my garden, and I haven't had any die so far. And 2 of them are 3 years old, and this one in front of me is going into its second spring in the garden. So I planted it last winter. Hang on one sec here. Sorry for the jumpiness. I wanted to talk a little bit about things I do that help my red huckleberries succeed. So red huckleberries live and grow and thrive in the understory of coniferous forests with a high amount of moisture. So they like dappled sunshine or shade, and they cannot handle getting dried out. So the thing that tends to kill them is come August and September, when it doesn't rain at all in Portland. Their roots get too dried out and they just shrivel and die very quickly. So this is one that I got. It was about half this size when I planted it. They grow very slowly. And so these are new shoots that it has put out. And it has put out this one really long one like that. Look at that. So eventually it should get to be, quite tall, 3.5 feet, 4 feet. But right now it's really petite, but it's starting to send out some taller shoots. And hopefully maybe this year we'll get fruit on it, maybe next year. So the things that I do that help my red huckleberries survive is I plant them where they want to be planted, in a protected location with lots of wood chips. I'm going to stand up here and you can see the wood chips. Deep bedding here, deep mulch of wood chips. And the other thing I do is they like acidic soil. So where I live, I don't have to acidify the soil. It's naturally very acid. But I do pull back the mulch and I put coffee grounds around them now and then. The other thing they really like is they tend to grow very close to, or sometimes on, rotting logs in their natural habitat. So I bought my plants at Bosque del Natives Nursery, and they suggested when you plant your red huckleberry to get a big chunk of rotting wood, especially coniferous wood, that's really broken down and spongy, and to stick it in the ground next to the red huckleberry, and that will work as a sponge to retain moisture, and it also mimics the conditions under which it would grow in the wild, and you'll have greater success. So I've done that, and it's worked really well for me. The piece of wood I had next to this plant has pretty much rotted away in the last year. So I got a load of wood chips recently, and there were lots of large pieces of wood in the pile. And I don't know if you can see here, and it's really sunny today, which is unusual, so my camera's having a little trouble focusing. So this piece right here, you can see the wood is really spongy, and if I squeeze it, can you see the water in it? Because it's been raining. It's very broken down, it just crumbles. So this is not good for growing mushrooms on, because it's kind of what you would call used up, but it's going to be really good for putting that next to my red huckleberry. So I'm going to pull back the mulch here until I get down to the ground. And I don't want to disturb the roots because it has delicate roots. So I'm going to just pull back the mulch a little bit and then pull back a little bit of the dirt. And I'm going to stick some of these pieces of wood in here, and then I'm going to cover it back up. And I'm going to do a couple more of those around the plant, and that's going to help keep my red huckleberry happy, help it retain moisture a little bit, and hopefully keep them going and produce fruit in the future. So that's the red huckleberry, Pacific Northwest native, notoriously difficult to grow in the garden, and that's how I'm keeping my 3 specimens alive. Thanks.